Hello, my name is Michael Avidan, and I'm an anesthesiologist and critical care physician at Washington University. Recently, I asked several of my colleagues the following question. If a patient were to come in with a possible myocardial infarction and to have a computerized ECG, and an algorithm were to put to them that the patient had a myocardial infarction and recommended that they give tissue plasminogen activator, how many of them would be prepared to do so without seeing the raw ECG trace? And the overwhelming majority of them insisted they would like to see the raw ECG trace before they would be prepared to administer the drug. And I thought that was reasonable. I subsequently put to them the following question. I said, okay, well, imagine you have a patient who's anesthetized or heavily sedated on the intensive care unit, and you have a computerized electroencephalogram or a processed EEG, and the processed EEG algorithm says to you the patient is too deeply anesthetized or too heavily sedated, and that you should lighten anesthesia or decrease sedation. How many of you would be happy to do so? And interestingly, many of them said, oh, they would be happy to do so without viewing the raw EEG trace. And I found that paradox interesting. Why the different standard for the EEG compared with the ECG? And I went further and I said, okay, well, let's see what sort of familiarity you have with ECG electrode placement. And I said, think about the following as candidate ECG electrode placements. Which of these possibilities, and I gave a multiple choice type question, might be most helpful for the indications indicated? And almost everybody felt that C, lead 2, 4, and 5 combination would be relatively helpful for rhythm and ischemia detection. When I framed a similar question in relation to the EEG, and I said which of these in relation to EEG montages might be helpful, none of the people to whom I posed the question, and this was a full room of practitioners, many of whom were very seasoned, were able to suggest which of these might be helpful montages, and all of them said they didn't know which montage might be helpful in this regard. So I appreciated that actually anesthesia practitioners are not very familiar with EEG montages. So why do I think that this is important, and why do colleagues around the world share this perspective? Well, the brain is the primary target organ of general anesthesia, and it's surprising to me that we don't have a standard monitor for the brain during anesthesia or sedation. I put to you that the EEG provides useful information during anesthesia, and that increasingly it is being shown that surrogacy of unawareness can be obtained from the EEG. Moreover, despite the fact that regulatory bodies are recommending that practitioners should be taught about the EEG, currently this is unstructured and truncated in many anesthesia training programs all around the world. And this, to me, is surprising because in recent years, several articles have emerged showing that anesthesia practitioners can be taught to glean useful information from the raw EEG with a relatively limited but structured training program. So this brings me to ICETAP, which stands for International Consortium for Electroencephalography Training of Anesthesia Practitioners. This is a website which is a collaborative effort. We have people all around the world in various continents who are excited about the EEG and who believe that EEG training and education can be made accessible to anesthesia practitioners, critical care practitioners, and others who wish to pursue this. And we have designed various modules and hope that this will be an organic process that grows over time and that more people will become interested in ICETAP as they see its potential. The way the modules are designed are in a format that can either be accessed through a classic PowerPoint slides, and these will be available for download, or through a Prezi type format, which is illustrated here. Prezi is different from classic PowerPoint in that it is a non-linear presentation style. So if you look at this module, which is sleep versus anesthesia, and you're interested in particular aspects, you can go anywhere on the module, you can zoom in, you can zoom out. There are embedded video clips which talk about sleep or anesthesia, and if there are particular things you want to review in depth or look at spending more time or greater detail, you can go back to those or spend more time on those particular areas. So I hope that you will enjoy your tour through IceTap, and that you will feel motivated to join our community and hopefully contribute to this enterprise. Thank you.